These are the top 5 print-on-demand mistakes you need to avoid when starting out. Recently, we were in San Francisco consulting for a print-on-demand company, and I thought it'd be a bit of fun to try gummies. Now, it's not something that's legal in Australia, so when we went over there, I was quite excited that this was going to be a good opportunity to try just that. Thought it'd be a great way to chill out, and it turned out it was anything but. So I went to the dispensary, I got a packet of gummies, I asked the guy, how much should I have? I've never tried this stuff before. And he said, just have one. If you don't feel anything, have 2. Got back, got ready. After about an hour, we're like, yeah, we don't feel like this has hit us at all. I think we've been sold a dud. So Hal suggested having another one. We both had another one. And because I'm 6'3" and he's only 5'10", I thought I'd have another half for a good measure. So I was up to 2.5 gummies. Anyway, we got up to the rooftop bar where we were going to have dinner that night. And I remember sitting there eating this cheeseburger, and it started to hit me. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is not the way to eat cheeseburgers. And I was looking around, and as I'm looking around, I had this funny thought in my head going, I swear to God, I've been looking at you for far too long. And then quickly looking away and looking at somebody else, and then doing the exact same thing. I started tripping out. It was like this ramping panic attack, and all of a sudden it hit super hard and then drop off, and it kept on doing this. Caught the Uber back after I told the how we just had to get back because I wanted to sleep it off. And that's when it hit him, and he thought we were being kidnapped in the Uber. Tried to get the guy to stop several times. Anyway, got back to the apartment, and when we were there, so Hal, he was in his bed, and he's like, dude, I think I'm going to fall out the window. And I had the same thought. I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to throw myself off the balcony. What happens if I jump off the balcony when I'm asleep? And it's just this constant panic, and I just couldn't get over it. You can probably hear my kids in the background, by the way. It's not a story for them, but they're at home on their holidays right now. Anyway, I said, mate, if you feel like that, just go and sleep in the corner over there. Just get your gear and just chill out over there. And so he started crawling. He reckons he went to the bathtub, reckons it was too cold, came back out. And I said to him, do you think we should call 911? And he goes, do you really think it's that bad? So we had a look on Google. And Google told us that the number one rule when trying gummies was to be with a trusted friend. And we looked at each other and straight up we were like, well, he's just as messed up as I am, so he's not going to be any use. We called 911. And whilst I was on the call to her, she said she had asked me how much had I had. And I told her it was 25 milligrams. And she goes, okay, can you have a look at the package and tell me how much is a recommended dose? And I had a look and it said 5 milligrams. I've had 5 times the recommended dose. I started stressing out super hard. And I was like, is there someone coming out? Is someone coming to get us? She said, yes, just chill out. There's someone coming. And then that's when we heard the sirens. Looked out the front window and the fire engine pulled up, the paramedic van. They were all there. The guys came up into the unit, and there's 3 of them. The first one was giving us a right serve. And the third one was like, oh my God, you've had 25 milligrams. You're going to die. Anyway, took us down to the van, and they told us that we'd be all okay and that we should go and sleep it off. Anyway, we made some mistakes that night, and that was because we were inexperienced. And because we were inexperienced, you do stupid things. And that is what is so important about an article or a YouTube video like this, about the top 5 mistakes that you should avoid when you are starting out in print on demand. So I hope you enjoyed that story. Let's get into it. These are the top 5 mistakes I see people making all the time with print on demand. Not only could it cost you time and money, it could get you in trouble with the law and completely banned from Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, and every other print on demand platform out there that's driving your sales. Number 1 is the absolute killer. Come with me and we'll count them down. Number 1 is over-designing. So often I see people getting into print on demand and they're just doing too much. If you go through the graphic design groups on Facebook, you'll often see that a lot of these things are so completely overworked, it just detracts from what it is that we're trying to sell. First and foremost, people buy the message. It's that phrase that's going to connect with them on an emotional level. It's going to get them to move it. And second to that, they then talk themselves into the product, whether it's a shirt, a coffee tumbler, or anything like that. So on the screen here, I've got, God knew I needed an angel, so he gave me my wife. Straight up here, you can see that the fonts are legible and the message is clear and concise. There's no fluff in that. Nothing is on that shirt that detracts from what the actual message is. It's calling out the niche, God straight up. Obviously a Christian shirt, they're married, and it's just black and white. High contrast design. This next one, when I first saw it, it gave me all sorts of weird feelings. I did not even want to read it because the pink, the red, it's just too much. And that's what you've got to understand. When people are cruising their news feed and they see something like that, they're not stopping. They're only going to stop if they think it's completely ugly, and they're not going to read on. So you need to use colors that are the most popular, which are the blacks and the whites, and not introduce colors that are not relevant to that design. Using fonts that are cursive and very, very hard to read, again, is pointless. You are wasting money. If you're spending money on driving traffic to shirts that look like this, people are scrolling on by because they're not taking the time to actually read what it's saying. They don't have that time. They're just cruising through their feed. They don't want to buy anything. So if it does not stand out and capture their attention straight up, they're not looking. The images on here do nothing for the design as well. You need one small image to make it relatable to your niche. Further than that, it's too much. Too much color. It's turning people off. Stop it. This one, you would be loud too if I was writing you. This is a great example of how to design for a news feed. This stands out in the feed. White on black. You would be loud if I was writing you. Easy to read, easy to see what niche it is. There is nothing in there that overcomplicates that design or takes attention away from what that message is. This one, never underestimate an old man with a motorbike. Again, calling out the niche. It's an old man on a motorbike. Very simple targeting. It calls out the biker when they first see it in the feed. It captures the attention. There's nothing in there that distracts the customer from what it is that this person's actually trying to sell. Number 4 is not niching down. If you're starting in print on demand, what I often see is people going exceptionally broad, particularly if they're using print on demand jewelry, which is one of the products that I suggest you sell. They always go husband to wife. There's no niching other than the fact that these guys are married. That's not enough. The next step to that is going husband and wife horse riders, husband and wife motorcycle riders, husband and wife truckers. Niching down into that next step to open up a more specific audience that's still large. In the ebook, I take you through that. I break it down. I give you 1,000+ niches that you can start working on. And once you start niching like I teach you in that ebook, it explodes the number that you can actually go after. Number 3 is choosing a product with not enough margin in it. What typically happens when you have a hot selling product on Facebook, you'll start with conversions at like $2 a piece. And very quickly, those conversion costs will blow out to $25 to $30. At that point, you want a product that has enough margin that allows you to keep scaling. Shine-On's a great example of a product to go after with extra margin in it. They're continually working on their sales pages. We've had some converting at 11, 12%, which is huge. The conversion rate is the amount of people that come to your site that convert into an actual sale. And they've got the upsells that they're building in and working on all the time. Like the mahogany box they recently launched, it gives you an extra $20 per sale, which is huge when it comes to scaling. Mugs, on the other hand, if you're selling for $20 and it's already costing you $10.50 for that product, you've only got $9.50 to play with. It doesn't take very long to blow that margin out of the water and have nothing left to play with. So you have to continually come up with new designs, new phrases, and continue to be at that grind phase when you could be working on products with more margin that you could play with and get a lot more out of. It slows that process down so you're not having to continually think of these phrases that are going to sell for you. Number 2 is not having consistency, not having a simple plan. A simple plan could be as easy as coming up with 5 new phrases on Monday, and you do that by going into Google Images, spypro.io, which is a spy tool that I use. I'll link to in the description below. These things allow you to find products that are selling in other niches and skew them to the ones that you're working in. With that ebook that I told you about earlier, you'll have so many niches to go after. Find the ones that are of interest to you and apply this method. So Monday, 5 new niches. Tuesday, go into Canva and create 1 to 2 designs. Wednesday, create another 1 to 2 designs. Thursday, another 1 to 2 designs. And then come Friday, optimizing your Etsy listing or launching your ads on Facebook. Rinse and repeat. Do that week after week after week, and the consistency will soon have your success screaming through the door. And number 1, and the most important, is infringing on copyright. This one is the one that could land you in trouble with the law. Let that sink in. It's not only that you'd be in trouble with the law, you would cease to exist on any of the marketing platforms that are available to us with print on demand. When I started way back in 2014, I was stupid enough to infringe on copyright, didn't make any money off it, didn't sell anything, but we drew a line in the sand very quickly that we weren't going to do it. What happened though is 3 years later, I got banned from Facebook for doing those couple of designs. They didn't sell, but they remained on the platform. And when this company came through called Counterfind, they found me and they got rid of me and I could not advertise. And that was actually how Store Hacks actually came about. I was banned. I had nothing to do in 9 months. So day one of my ban, I started storehacks.com and started writing these articles that shares hints, tips, tricks, and strategies. If you like any of these tips and you want to see more, make sure you like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll try and get more and more content out for you. Thanks for watching.